Hi guys, and welcome once again to my channel. Welcome to today's episode, which is of so much importance to me because it affects me directly and also affects a good number of men in this world. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the celebration of men, the celebration of fathers, and how it is practically non-existent when it compared to Mother's Day. But this is not supposed to be a topic about comparison because every parent is supposed to play a role, and but unfortunately I feel like many of us fathers or men, in spite of all the challenges that we deal with, do not get that recognition. And so some years back I watched a comedian who was talking about fathers and how we are not valued, and like how Father's Day is sort of like not as non-existent. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, a few days ago, like right before Father's Day, I chanced upon that video again, like a snippet of it, and then which I'm gonna play, and I come back to talk about it, but I mean, come back to talk about this issue of fatherhood or manhood or whatever that you might want to term it. But when I saw the video, I was like, it was just around Father's Day, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, maybe I should talk about this. But then another part of me was like, probably people are not going to take it so seriously. But then I was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt put that information out. Maybe people don't see things a type of way because they are not in the situation, or they are not fathers, or I mean, whatever. But so the comedian is called Ali Sadiq. I'll just play this very short video for you to watch and then listen, and then like I'll continue from like after the video is done. So here it goes.
Father's Day is the worst holiday in the world. I've done the research, I already know. Let me tell you something. Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world. Christmas is first, so that means it's Jesus, then your mama. You know what Father's Day fall at? Number 20. I can't think of 18 other holidays. Do you realize Halloween is number 6? Does that mean ghosts and goblins go before fathers? Arbor Day is number 13. I don't even know what that is. I just know it come before me. That's crazy. Columbus Day is number 16. Celebrating Columbus Day is like celebrating somebody finding money in your house. Where you get that $50 from? I discovered it in your kitchen.
Yeah, guys. So that was Ali Sadiq, and I think what I'll probably do is, for those who might be interested in watching the whole thing, I'll try and then put a link below. So, maybe after this you could watch it, and then probably, it was comedy, but there was some truth to what he was saying. Father's Day. I have had this conversation a couple of times with mostly females, and the conversation comes up especially when Mother's Day is approaching. Well, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who talked about like she found herself like in a state of confusion when Mother's Day was approaching, and her reason was that she couldn't really figure out what to get for her mom. And it was interesting to see serious the conversation was, or how her state of mind was at the point. Whilst we were on the phone, like I asked her at the point, I was like, whilst you're there, like, are you considering getting something for your father as well? Because Father's Day is around the corner. And it was more like, I will get him something, but there wasn't that much excitement in saying something, like in getting something for her father. And it hasn't been with just her. Like, I've had other conversations with other like ladies, and then it's been the same energy. It's like fathers don't matter. It's worrying because I feel like before anybody became a parent, you don't just have, we have single parents, all right, but it took two parents, like a mom and a dad, to like conceive and then give birth. So why is one more important than the other? Like, because I get that. So I know there are quite a number of fathers who are not there, like taking care of their kids, or don't seem to care. I mean, I don't know. It could be domestic issues. It could be, I mean, whatever. Definitely there was a problem, or maybe there was the fear or unpreparedness of these men to become fathers. I mean, it's not being ruled out, but we need to look at this more closely in the sense that, yes, we know that mothers are usually the ones who are around kids, while like from the time they are conceived, like from the time they're born to probably a certain age when they get to adolescence and up to, I mean, early adulthood, where they move out and everything. And it's like mothers are always there to start conversations with kids, like wanting to know their problems and whatever. Naturally, men are not set up that way. It's not to say that there aren't men who are doing that. Like, I mean, there are quite a good number of men who would have conversations with their kids and then want to know what is up with them. But the challenge, I feel, where the problem comes in is because of how men are, like our structure. Men usually are very firm in certain things. Like, it's not that easy to walk over a man. I mean, if I can say so. I'm not taking that from women as well. I mean, there are women who can be firm on like with decisions that they have to make, especially when kids are involved. I feel like because of the way fathers are, it makes it a bit difficult for children to approach them. I'm saying this from experience because at a point, I mean, I felt that way. I had this thing where scared to approach my dad or talk to him about certain things. And I know, like years down the line, but like we had a heart-to-heart conversation, and then I told him that, look, it is difficult to approach you. You might feel like your kids do not come to you or talk to you about stuff. It is not because we don't want to. It's because sometimes you feel like, okay, you can conclude on what he's going to say, or probably, I mean, because he sees things from a different point of view. Like the way a man's mind is made up, like a setup where we look at issues from the end point and then work our way back. It's like, so you're thinking of, okay, if this decision is made and then things don't work out, how do you work your way back? Like that is how most men like think. And I say that because I do the same thing. Before I make a decision, I'm like, okay, so if it's yes, and I proceed, and then the answer I should have given or the route I should have taken was like the no route. Now, how do I work my way back? And because of that, fathers sort of like are very firm, so their kids don't make such mistakes. Sometimes we need to allow them to make the mistakes to learn, but depending on how bad it will be, I guess that's where the problem comes in. But we are hardly celebrated. Like, if for nothing at all, men are always bashed. They'll say it's a man. I mean, we say it's a man's world, all right, but it doesn't feel that way. It's a man's world when you have to do the hard work, you have to go hustle and then make sure there's food, or like food for the family, the security and everything. But where do we get our appreciation? Because it's like just a few weeks ago when it was almost Mother's Day, I know a friend of mine who's into video directing, and he spent months, like if I'm not mistaken, at least not less than 2 months, trying to work on a Mother's Day campaign, not like a Mother's Day ad for TV. And it was just for like what, probably 10-15 seconds or something. And this was to cut across other African countries, like one advert, like in different languages, from English to French to Swahili, whatever. But when it was time for Father's Day, it was like, and I'm sure a lot of you saw, where it would just be like a picture, one small design, and then there's a necktie or whatever with glasses, a mustache, and then it just says Happy Father's Day. It's like, what are we good for? It hurts to talk about this because as a father, I'm not begging anyone to sort of like celebrate me. I guess based on the kind of relationship that I have with my kids, they are still very young, but even the oldest one, the kind of relationship I have with him, it's good enough for him to recognize that I'm his father. And I do make it a point to let him understand that, hey, do not find it difficult to approach me and then talk about issues that you are dealing with. Pointed out to him that, you know what, there are certain things that, there are certain questions that a man can provide better answers to, because as a man, he has lived that life. And based on his experiences, mistakes and whatever, I can easily tell you how or what I think you should do. A lot of the time, we think that men are these macho people, and then like, yeah, we can handle everything. To an extent, we try as much as possible to handle things, but the only unfortunate thing is that even if, like, all those efforts we put in, we still don't get recognized. Men are dealing with a lot of mental stress. Imagine a man having to go through all of these. Again, when I say men, or like, I'm stressing more men because it concerns us. I know that women, I mean, you have your challenges as well, but I feel that a lot of the time the men in your lives do, or put in an extra effort to try and understand whatever it is you're going through, try and then offer solutions or suggestions on how things could get better. How many times do men get that? Not many. If you're fortunate enough to have a partner or you have siblings who understand that being a man is difficult and everything, like, yeah, you can get that support. How about those who don't? You go out in the morning, come back in the evening, and then, like, yeah, what is expected of you is expected of you. But as to how you dealt with it, not many people think about it, including children. When a man has issues, who actually listens to him? At the end of the day, we know that, yeah, if anybody listens or hears you out, most of the time they don't really care because they expect that you should be able to deal with it. Like I said earlier, mental health is really big. Like, you can't really go and voice out your frustrations because, yeah, you're supposed to be, again, like I said, the macho man, and you talking about issues, people might consider you as being like you're nagging too much. So I was talking to a friend of mine on Father's Day. I mean, he called me up to wish me Father's Day because, yeah, we have gone through stuff. But like, I was talking to him, and then he said he made a statement. He was like, yeah, sometimes he feels men are to be blamed as well, because when it's Mother's Day, we put in an extra effort and try and make sure that the kids do not forget to wish their moms or celebrate their moms. But when it's Father's Day, what do we get? Nothing. How many mothers even remember? It's like, it's just one of those things. You go to our religious homes, especially churches, and there are like whole events or whatever for mothers. Yes, some churches will hold events for fathers, but it's like the way you're even appreciated as a father, it's some way, and it hurts. I'll say it hurts. I mean, let me put it out there, like, for the young ones who are yet to become parents or become guardians of whatever sort, hopefully things don't turn out that way, but it is at that point that you would probably play back this in your head because, yeah, you might have watched it and then you know what I was talking, like, you remember the things that I was talking about. As a man, it's not easy. Society doesn't make it easy for men. Physically, it's a man's world, but mentally, like, I don't know how many of us are built for stuff like that. There are a lot of broken men walking the streets. Every man I know has this fear of failure, like failing to be a man to start with, failure to be a good husband, failure to be a good father. Mostly when guys meet, some of these things come out, and then it's like you realize that it cuts across. But at the end of the day, all those men speaking have the same thing or almost have the same problem. It's not that we need so much of pampering. Like, let us feel appreciated. It is not our fault that there are men out there who have neglected their families. Yes, we are trying our very best to play the role of fathers, play the role of husbands, play the role of guardians or whatever sort. But give us that recognition. We are not begging for it. That's what I'm saying. Knowing men, I mean, we don't want to feel like, or we don't want you to feel like, oh yeah, something that we are begging for. Even before Father's Day, I do my very best to let my father understand that I appreciate him for everything that he has done. As a parent, you make decisions for your children not because they are the best, but at the point of making those decisions, out of many options, those were the very good ones that you could come up with. Your kids may not understand, your spouse may not understand, but as a man, that's what you're able to come up with. And I feel like every effort that we make should be appreciated. So I beg you, Father's Day is past. Let's not wait for another Father's Day to come before we go like, oh, okay, hey, happy Father's Day, Dad, and then go get him an inner garment, singlet like we say, and then socks. Like, is that all we're good for? Take him out for lunch or something. Have a one-on-one, like a deep conversation. Let your father know that, okay, yeah, you appreciate everything that he has done for you. Once you start having like a good relationship with your father, it is easy for you to open up and then discuss things that you are dealing with, from relationships to work to, I mean, whatever challenges. It's not to say that he's the best in dealing with issues, but at least you would find out that his take on certain things that you're having to deal with would make sense. You don't necessarily have to take everything that he says You just have to weigh and then see which one is going to work for you. Mistakes that certain men have committed by neglecting their families should not be a yardstick for you to measure all men. Everyone is different. Everyone has challenges. But I'm just saying, don't let one parent seem more important than the other. Anyway guys, it's time for me to go, and I just want to encourage those who haven't subscribed to this channel yet to do so. Like and comment. Let me know your views. So, like, share your views. It's not a me thing, it's an us thing. Let us be able to communicate and find ways like to better our homes or relationships, or it means a lot to me. That's why it's difficult for me to really express myself. So until we meet again in the next video, I would urge all of us to stay safe and live life the best way that we can. See you guys.